Hey, what's up, Roxstars? Welcome back to the channel. It's Rox, and hey, we are here to talk about it. The inauguration was yesterday. Y'all, we made it. I was so stressed all day. Yesterday was such a stressful day, but it turned out in the end to be a beautiful, beautiful day, and I was so pleased. I got up early in the morning. Like I normally do, because I have animals that I have to take out to use the bathroom. But anyway, I got up early in the morning and I watched basically from sun up to sundown every and all thing inauguration. So we're just going to talk about that today. This is probably going to be a two-part video because we have a lot to talk about with this inauguration. And then the other things we'll talk about in the part two. Okay, but yeah, you guys, let's talk about the inauguration. The morning started off uneventfully enough. We saw YSAP and Melania Trump. They had the helicopter waiting on the lawn at the White House, and it was waiting for them to depart. It was the very last time that they would be in that helicopter. They were going to be taken to a rally that YSAP was going to be conducting, and then on to Air Force One that at some point would turn into Marine One, and drop them off at Mar-a-Lago, where hopefully we will never hear or see from him again, or hear from him again. That's wishful thinking. But you guys, anyway, he and Melania did come out. Melania was wearing Chanel. Not surprising. She does wear, foreign designers, and she always looks nice. We can't hate on that. It's always in a very sharp, cold, and impersonal way, but, she still looks good. They made their way across the lawn, went over to a crowd of spectators and said whatever they said over there to them. And then they got onto the helicopter and they said they were going to ride around the White House one last time and then go on to wherever his rally was. I don't even know where the rally was, you guys. I didn't even care to look. But if you've been to one YSAP rally, you've been to them all, right? They all pretty much are about him. He has a way of alternating the facts, and not even alternating the facts, just flat out lying, changing it up to make himself look good. Okay, said that he's left the country basically in a very good position to do well. Fuck, it's all the way at the bottom. Really, where else can we go but up, But yeah, he said that he left it in a good, position, and he took credit for the vaccine being, happening as quickly as it did. Some would say that it didn't happen quickly, but we'll talk about that later. And, he talked about the economy, and he just, I don't know what America he's been living in. Well, you know what? It hasn't affected him. As a matter of fact, he's rich, or at least on paper he's rich. In reality, we still don't know exactly where he stands financially. But we know that the wealthy actually did get a lot wealthier in this pandemic. Can't say the same for many others. Most Americans didn't fare as well. But anyway, he was there. He thanked his family, who were all with him, which we expected that as well. He had put them in positions of power and government, which no president has done before, really. That was already skating on corruption. You got your whole family running the. It was just so much. I was just like, I don't give a fuck. YSAP, get on the plane and go. That's all I kept thinking. And I was watching it on CNN, and it was really cool the way they did it, because when he finally did get onto the plane and take off, that was only then when President-elect Joe Biden and Jill Biden came out. They were waiting until YSAP had taken off and gone on to greener pastures. Okay, so they came out, and Jill looked beautiful in a burgundy-ish, purplish suit. I'm sorry, I did not get the name of the designer of that suit. Yeah, it's so much to talk about when it came to fashions. But anyway, she looked great, and they were going on to church. They were going to have mass. You know, he is only the second Catholic president that the United States has had. The first one would be John F. Kennedy, who they say was the person that inspired him to go into politics in the first place. He was in high school, they say, when John F. Kennedy was sworn in. But anyway, so yeah, they went on to mass, and we saw Vice President-elect Kamala Harris and her husband, along with their families. They all went to mass. There was also a lot of political figures that went along with them to mass. And you guys, it did make me feel good. I know that YSAP, I believe he did also go to church or something at his, you know, right before his inauguration, but it never felt like it was the real deal. Felt like it was for stunts and shows. I mean, we've seen him in churches. He don't know when he's supposed to pray. He don't know how to hold the Bible. You know, he don't know the words to none of the most basic songs. I was like, he don't even look like he know the words of Amazing Grace. Oh, heathen. We saw them. They went to church. And then after that, we basically was getting on to the Capitol, the state Capitol. So, I mean, sorry, the national Capitol, so that we could get on with this swearing in. I thought it was very interesting that on the news, they let us know that Biden was left a note by YSAP, which was surprising because up until now, they have not spoken. They hadn't spoken to each other. You know, of course, YSAP did not concede, or he did whatever his version of whatever it was that he did. He never did congratulate Biden, because we know in his mind he feels like the election was stolen from him. So it was surprising to find out that he was going to he actually left a letter for Biden. This has been a tradition, a long-standing tradition between presidents. As they go on, they will leave a note for the incoming president, you know, to wish him well, and I guess whatever personal effects that they feel like they need to tell them. So this time, you know, YSAP, always unpredictable. He was like, you know what, I'm gonna leave a note too. And you guys, I was able to get a copy of the letter. I don't know if you guys saw, but they did post the letter early this morning. I don't have the actual letter, but I'll just read off to you guys what Joseph, you know, our President Biden had said that the letter said. So it said, and I quote, "You big fat boo-boo head." Wait, I'm sorry. That says, "You big fat duty head." It's duty head. "You big fat duty head, I hate you. I hope you fall and break your front teeth when you're going to the potty. Your mama is ugly and she stink." Y'all know he ain't nothing but a fucking 3-year-old. You big fat duty head. Woo! You guys, I was gonna write the letter and you know, like in baby scratch, but then I saw that they was posting that all over Twitter, so I was like, how am I gonna do this joke now? Yeah, we went on ahead and read, "You big fat duty head, I hate you. I hope you fall and break your front teeth when you are going to the potty. Your mama is ugly and she stink." Oh shit. Oh, hey you guys. So at the Capitol, we saw very shortly after they went to church that many dignitaries were showing up, and not just from the Democratic side. I mean, we of course expected the Republicans to show up as well, but was anybody else as surprised as I was when we saw Ted Cruz pull his ass up? I was just like, this motherfucker here. You know, I really take him, between him and that other Hawley guy, Hawkley or whatever his name is, it really takes a special person to be, I mean, to really just run around and just say all kind of reckless and wrong and lying and just creating so much chaos on top of the chaos that's already going on. For you to actually show up to something like this, I was just like, wow. Okay. But I guess he was trying to show to his Republican side that, you know, he is playing fair, you know, and that he's sticking to the business of the politics, and, you know, his concern is for his people and making sure. I don't know, you guys. I mean, really, what can folks do for the next 4 years? It's going to be Biden's show. Okay, just like everybody had to fall in line where Trump was concerned. Okay, well, now everybody's got to fall in line where Biden is concerned. So I think that's what we are seeing here. With some of the more polarizing Republicans. Of course, the other ones that, aren't high ranking and things like that. I mean, I expected them to be there and to show their support. But I was just looking at Ted Cruz like, you motherfucker. Of course, we had Mike Pence, Vice President Mike Pence, and his wife come. He had already said that he was going to forego the seeing off of YSAP and his family. I didn't blame him. I feel like Mike Pence is in a really peculiar spot. He was 4 years loyal to YSAP because that's all you can be when you work for YSAP. I think he was bidding his time because he wanted to run for president in 4 more years. I think they were assuming that YSAP was going to get 4 more years and then he was going to run after that, and the shit fell apart. Okay. But then he also could not go against YSAP, because when you go against YSAP, you know what happens. Okay. And when Pence did finally say that he was not going to try to overturn the election results when they were doing the certification of those electoral votes, well, then of course that was when YSAP threw him under the bus. I mean, ultimate bus throwing under. And that mob that was sent to the Capitol as Congress was in session, they were specifically in there, many of them were in there to, quote, hang Mike Pence. That's what they were saying. That's what they were chanting. They said that they were about a minute away from getting to Mike Pence. And of course, we know about the guard, what's his name? Eugene. I can't think of his last name, the one who actually did escort Vice President-elect Kamala Harris in. We know that he did lead them away from the Senate, and probably he most likely did save Mike Pence's life. I don't know if those people really knew, like most of them knew for a fact that they was going in there to kill Mike Pence, but I think that some of them knew that that's what they were doing. And you know how mob rules, right? If they would have got to him, I think something might have happened to Mike Pence. And that was all because of YSAP. So Mike Pence, of course, has to think about his political future. He's not done. He has to also think about the base that supports his boss, okay? And possibly that base might move on to helping him when he does run for president. But then he also has to think about how him and his wife could have been killed, okay? And that was because of his boss, all right? So how do you play this? How do you play this? Well, I know most people who haven't spent their whole lives, dreaming about being a president one day, okay, would have been like, fuck you, okay, to YSAP, and would not have been his supporter any longer. Mike Pence took the more, I'm just going to back off route. I'm not going to talk to him anymore and not really have much to say to him. And I'm going to support Biden and this new administration, because what else can he do? And so I guess Mike Pence, we'll see what happens with him in the future. But he was there with his wife. And he did try to keep a pretty low profile. I mean, we saw him talking to some people and kind of smiling and kind of chuckling along with a few people. But for the most part, Mike Pence did try to stay out of the way. He was in the background, and this was for sure a Democratic show. Okay, so we saw him, and Mike Pence does look good, I must say. That hair is immaculate. I mean, I'll tell you, I was watching Tamika Girl. I agreed with you. His hair is great. If we can just maybe get President Biden's, coif just cut a little bit, and even though his hair is much thinner than Mike Pence, that Mike Pence has a full fucking head of white hair, snow white and always in place. His wife is real frumpy. I was like, girl, you gonna have to step it up. I mean, Mike Pence is anyway, it don't matter, child, it don't matter. But he did stay out of the way. Of course, we saw everybody that was coming in. They introduced them one by one. We saw Dan Quayle, who I never have known anything about Dan Quayle. Even when he was the vice president, he just never was interesting or anything to me. But one thing about these people, they aged well. I mean, that Dan Quayle looked good. I was like, look at all Dan. Shit. Was he cute back then, child? But yeah, he looked nice. You know, just an observation, you guys. But of course, we're going to talk about the mains. Okay. Now, first of all, we saw Hillary Clinton and, President Bill Clinton. They came in, and, you know, Hillary had chosen to wear some low heels, which I didn't blame her at all. You got to come down them stairs, you know, and Hillary Clinton had on her long coat, and she was wearing burgundy. I'm sorry, not burgundy. She was wearing purple. This is the color that I chose to wear. I don't have any pearls. I did have some pearls, and they were stolen when the motherfuckers broke in my goddamn house. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I didn't have any pearls, you guys. So, but I chose to wear the same colors that many of the women that were up on the stage yesterday were wearing. One, our vice president elect, well, she's Vice President Kamala Harris now. But anyway, we'll get to her in a second. So Hillary looks great. She's grown her hair out. Okay. Bill Clinton looks like Bill Clinton. They say that Bill Clinton has a magnificent charm, which I can definitely believe, and is definitely the reason why so many women fall to his, you know, to his whatever it is that he has, sexual prowess, I guess. But anyway, they looked great. Hillary looked like she had a look on her face like, I mean, finally. We done got rid of that fucking fool that's been up in here for 4 damn years that I tried to tell you guys about. I tried to save you guys from. I mean, YSAP really did so much damage, you guys. And if they didn't get him out, 4 more years of YSAP, I don't know where this country would be. Like, and I mean that wholeheartedly. I don't know where it would be. At least I don't know where the middle class and below would be, for sure. But anyway, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton looked great. We had, of course, George W. Bush and Laura Bush. Laura Bush always has that very Southern charm, you know, woman of Southern charm. She just always looks very... like she cooks biscuits and and lemonade for you, you know, when you come over. You know, she's always got, like, she just reminds me of that type, very much a Leave It to Beaver, June Cleaver type. She looked nice as well. I'm sorry, I didn't get her designer either, and I did see that they talked about her designer. It was an American designer. Everybody was wearing American designers, okay? And she wore a blue colored, it was like a seafoam bluish, turquoise-ish number, long jacket. Of course, it was cold out there. It's freezing. It looked like it was freezing anyway. It was snow flurries and everything, but the sun was shining, but it looked like it was chilly. And then, of course, George W. Bush, who I've grown to really enjoy because, you know, now that he is not the president any longer, he looks like he is just really fucking enjoying his life, okay? And we know that him and Bill Clinton have forged, like, a really close friendship, and even with the Obamas, who we cannot ignore, looked the fucking best. Oh, my God, you guys, can we just give it up? You gonna say whatever you want to say about the Obamas, but you ain't gonna never say that they look bad. They always look great, okay? And now that they can really, you know, Michelle can wear heels now because she can be, you know, a little bit taller than President Obama. You know, back then everybody was picking apart every single thing that she wore. I always wore them old horrible kitten heels. I was like, girl, I know you hate them things. But, you know, she did what she had to do, but now it don't matter. So she came out. I did get her designer. Her designer was an African-American designer by the name of Sergio Hudson. It's from his Sergio Hudson Collection 7. And evidently he is a very much sought after, you know, recently sought after African-American designer. I think he's out of South Carolina, I think I heard them say. But he has dressed Tracy Ellis Ross and J. Lo and, of course, Michelle Obama and many others. So he is like kind of what's what right now. Okay. and she looked beautiful. It was burgundy. The coat was really, I think he only had designed the coat, but that's really all we could see. She looked like she had on a burgundy sweater and like burgundy wide leg pants underneath, but that coat was everything. I know she was nice and warm because, like I said, it looked like it was either cashmere or wool or a blend of the two. I don't think do you blend cashmere and wool? Maybe it was cashmere. It was just so, and cashmere is hot as fuck, okay? It ain't real, you know, it's not real thick, and you would look at it and think that you would still be cold. But if you have on a nice cashmere sweater, like a cashmere, even a cardigan or something, you're gonna be good and warm, okay? So she had that coat on. President Obama looked wonderful. I mean, he just ages so nicely, child, and he just fine, you know, just good looking, you know. So they came on out, and then we also had Jill Biden. She was wearing, both Jill Biden and Laura Bush, they were wearing the same designer. And Marketplace is the name of the designer. It was the name of the company, and the designer that actually fashioned what they were wearing was Alexandra O'Neill. Okay, not to be confused with Alexander O'Neill. I know people like, that motherfucker Alexander O'Neill got off drugs and now he up here designing for the damn president's wives, y'all. But no, not Alexander, Alexandra. Jill Biden, she also wore the designer, like I was just saying, and she actually did not know that Jill Biden was going to wear her fashion until she stepped out of the door. So I guess they kept it a secret, you know, what Jill Biden was going to be wearing. So can you imagine the surprise and just knowing that your sales and your popularity is about to skyrocket because the first lady has walked out in your outfit? Okay, it was a nice teal blue, sea foamish blue number. Wasn't all the way down to her ankles, kind of hit right above her shin or right at her calves or whatever. It had some tweed, you know, going on, and then it had some little sparkles and everything. It looked very, very good. Her hair was very pretty. She looked beautiful. We had President Biden came out in a full Ralph Lauren number. And they looked great. So everybody was representing up there, you guys. Nobody looked a mess. Of course, we saw Biden's family, his granddaughters that were back there, and they all had on, they were all different designers from what I understand, but they all basically had on the same look, which was those very long cashmere coats to, you know, stave off the cold. And then, you guys, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Bernie Sanders. And Bernie Sanders, I was like, why y'all got him off to, you know, by himself? I mean, Bernie was sitting in his own chair. I said, Bernie, you couldn't bring your cousin or nothing. Bernie ain't got no woman, I guess. So Bernie was in his one chair by himself, child, and he looked like he had on like some kind of fisherman's coat in there. He did look warm. He definitely looked that. He looked like he had on some fucking socks on his hands. I was like, Bernie, you couldn't even get no gloves. But I saw this morning on the news that they said that some teacher in his home state had knitted those gloves for him. So I won't make fun, but when I first saw them up there, they was all, you know, they looked like some damn socks from LL Bean or something. I said, okay, Bernie. Bernie made a statement too. Yeah, so those were the fashions. That, well, we'll still have more fashions, but I'm trying to go in order of how everything went. So once we got everybody seated, we had Amy Klobuchar. She came out. She was the MC of sorts. I don't know what to call her, but, you know, she was the one that was kind of conducting and moving along the show. And she, you know, said a few things, had some little giggles, you know, made us laugh and whatnot. So I was just totally different than the feel of the last inauguration that I actually did watch. Some of the inauguration. No, I didn't. I don't think I did. I think I had an attitude and I was just like, fuck y'all. I ain't watching this bullshit. I already knew, like most people knew, that it was about to be 4 years of mess, y'all. But so let me just move on with the way things went. Of course, all of the previous recent administrations were there, with the exception of YSAP, okay, who would be the first of 152 years of what you guys call y'all stupid ass president of not showing up for an inauguration and passing the torch on to the new president. But of course that's how he would be, because he operates that way, and we don't expect anything different from YSAP. Can you guys see the edges of my wig now? Okay. But it was okay, because honestly he wasn't missed. I didn't even think about YSAP, and I truly mean that. Like, I was nervous with the fact that they were outside, but I was thinking more of his loyalists. But I wasn't really thinking about YSAP himself. And actually, it's just good that he wasn't there, because it would have just been very uncomfortable, because we know how you feel, and don't fake the funk, okay? And he's not much of a fake the funk kind of person either. So it worked out well. So let's just talk about the highlights of the inauguration. It went just like all inaugurations go. You got people up there speaking, talking, and saying what they gonna say and whatnots. We had some performers. Lady Gaga came out. She was wearing a custom Schiaparelli gown, and she looked pretty. You know, all of the extra drama that comes with Lady Gaga. The dress had a huge petticoat, you know, was red and black, you guys. She had a true live dipped in gold dove that was on her fucking shoulder. I was like, that's a big ass fucking brooch. I'm telling you, it looked like they just got a live dove and dipped that mofo in the gold, and then waited for it to harden up, and then they put it on her shoulder. But of course, Lady Gaga is a singer, so she sang, and she sounded great. Supposedly she was singing to a recording, because that's what they do for these inaugurations. Remember, we found that out back when everybody was saying that Beyonce was singing to a track. And then she had to come out with her special report and let y'all know that she could sing it live. You know, she just did it live because they told her, did it recorded because they told her that she had to. I still was looking at Lady Gaga, and I was like, it sure don't sound like it's a recording, but it probably was a recording. Whether it was or not, we already know that Lady Gaga has proven many, many times that she can sing live. So that doesn't matter, right? I did enjoy I was like, I really need to learn the hand signals of the person that got up there. One of the military women got up there and did the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. And of course, it reminded me of the person out here in Georgia. Was that in Georgia? No, that wasn't Georgia. That was at Nelson Mandela's funeral, when they had the person up there who didn't know what the fuck he was doing. He had made it all the way to Mandela's funeral, and y'all up here with this person that don't even know what the fuck he doing, just throwing up signs, landing airplanes and shit, throwing up gang signs. So we had her. And then we had J-Lo, who was sharp as fuck. I'm gonna tell you what, J-Lo is always gonna be sharp. She is definitely one of the people that I would love to be in her closet. Between her, Lala, and there's a few people, but her and Lala, I just love when they really dress up. Lala, as of late, has just been wearing like Fashion Nova stretchy two pieces with her stomach out and her big titties showing, her big booty. But you know, when she really had to dress, when everybody had somewhere to go, when outside was open, they don't never disappoint. So this time was no exception. J-Lo did wear Chanel. She didn't get the memo that we was wearing American designers, I guess, today. So she was wearing Chanel, all white, just sharp. Girl, you gonna do that, okay? So that's the fashions. We got the fashions out the way, right? That J-Lo, I was talking to Angelica Smiley Adventures, you guys, y'all follow her, and she was like, I have no idea why it is that J-Lo gets all of these huge ass gigs. She was in the inauguration, she was performed at the Super Bowl, she was, all these big concerts, and it's always J-Lo up there. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy a good J-Lo performance when she's upstage and she's dancing. She's got her dancers. That's the whole production that we try to see. Ain't nobody trying to fucking see J-Lo sing. No. She is not a songstress. And I was just like, girl, I don't know why she keeps on getting these gigs either. Another one of my Roxstars, Kia, she told me that supposedly J-Lo and Lady Gaga were very, very implemental in getting Joe Biden, working on his campaign. And I guess if that's true, then I guess this was like a payback. But really, there were so many others that could have done J-Lo's spot. Like, she's just, you know. And earlier when I saw A-Rod up there, I was just like, now, I forgot that that J-Lo was even performing at this thing, but honey, A-Rod was up there hobnobbing and rubbing elbows with the Obamas and all of that. But yeah, you guys, J-Lo got up there and sang a medley of songs. I think This Land Is Your Land, This Land Is My Land, and something else. But child, why in the middle of the song, she threw in her little shit. She was like, let's get loud. I said, bitch. Bitch. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Because I don't know nobody that asked for, nobody said, Jennifer, in the middle of the song, you know what you need to do? You need to throw in some Spanish, and then you need to, child, did you guys see it was a little old lady that was sitting behind her when she started talking in Spanish? That lady looked over at the man that was sitting next to her. She was just like, now that's enough of this bullshit. Honey, she was like, enough, sir. Enough. I mean, I guess, she really felt like she was doing something with that. Then she closed it on up, and I was like, fine, go sit down. Okay, so now once we got through all of them shenanigans, then we got on with the swearing in. First, we had Vice President Kamala Harris get up. Supreme Justice Sotomayor is the one who swore her in. And it was a wonderful, warm feeling. Like I said, I wore this purple today, just in honor of Kamala Harris, who I'm so proud of. I know she's not perfect, but I think that she is the perfect person for the job right now. She has my support. I hope that she does well. I'm not trying to set her up for failure at all. Okay, and then we had President Biden, who was sworn in on a Bible that's been in his family for, 100 and something years. He's used it many times to be sworn in. His son even used it when he was sworn in. Those kind of things as I get older, those kind of things when I was younger didn't mean anything to me. But as I get older, seeing things that are passed down through family and generations really do mean something. My mother-in-law gave all of the grandkids something for Christmas. And she was, crying, and she was saying, this is something that you guys can give your kids, and, you'll think of me. And it was, she's very much into Christmas. She loves Christmas time. And it was this glass porcelain Disney castle thing. Anyway, it's a long story why it was Disney and all of that. But I mean, it really did mean something to all of us. And even the kids all of the grandkids who are all in their 20s. They were all very touched, and it was really special. So just to see him, with that Bible and know that it's been through their generations of family and can say, has seen many things, like that meant something to me. But anyway, he was sworn in. He did say his speech, and the speech was all about, it wasn't a political tinged speech. It was more about trying to get America back on track. Trying to get to the soul of America. He said that he's trying to win the soul of America back. That politics doesn't have to be a raging fire that burns everything down in its path. That people can agree and disagree and agree to disagree. And it doesn't have to be all that has been for the last 4 years. He made a point not to mention YSAP, but we knew what he was talking about. He's trying to reach across to those who are plenty pissed. So, Biden has a huge job ahead of him. It is a big ass, it's asking a lot. It's really going to be difficult for him. Just because our country is in such a bad way right now. And the racism has been stoked to just, our race relations are bad, and, the political relationships are bad, and economically people are suffering, so people are mad, and it's just a lot. So, the things that he's trying to do, I admire it a lot, and I really want to see him succeed as well. And it's going to take it's going to really be a lot of people going to have to soften up their hearts on both sides of that aisle and try to come together. And, yesterday, of course, in the spirit of the inauguration and all, everybody is in that mode. Everybody is in the celebratory, let's move forward. It even felt lighter, and I don't know if that's just because if I have any Republicans that are watching me, didn't the mood just feel lighter? It didn't feel like every time you turn around, it was going to be something. I'm tired of having that feeling for 4 years. Just like my cousin said, we all have PTSD from the last 4 years, just nervous about what the fuck somebody's going to say, because everybody just been so damn off the chain. Now when we get back to maybe a little bit of normalcy, we don't know what to do with it. But yeah, so he gave his speech, and it really did feel good to just have a president again who looks like he has some feelings, who looks like he has some faith, who looks like he believes in God, and who looks like he wants the best for, just regular, general, normal. I really believe, and maybe it's just me being naive, but I believe most people are, they just trying to live their lives and be good people and be successful in whatever they do in their lives. And I don't feel like everybody is racist and, that alternate right, wing who just really just seems to hate anybody that's not like them. I don't believe that that's where our country is, but I believe that, YSAP could have recruited a lot more people over in the next 4 years had he stayed in place. So I'm just really hoping that what Biden is trying to do, asking to be given a chance to reach across and, maybe we can negotiate and get back to the way politics used to be, where sometimes we had to give up we wanted to get something else. And, maybe we can get back to that way of living. So, I'll just say we'll see. We'll just see. I hope that he's able to do it. Okay. And then we had Garth Brooks get up there, who looked like a real fluffy, chunky, kind of Bufferino type Kevin Costner. Just as fluffed up and soft and cushiony. But he sang Amazing Grace. And he sang that a cappella. I used to say Acapulco, but you guys be trying to correct me. Okay. A cappella. And then he wanted people to join in. So he definitely wasn't singing to a recording. He was singing live, and we could tell. Garth Brooks, he's obviously a successful country singer because he can sing. But, the Amazing Grace, but that was not his calling. That wasn't his ministry, on yesterday. But it was okay, and he wanted them to join in, and, they did their little join-ins and whatever. But after he finished, I was like, look, Garth Brooks is like me. I'm like, we in the middle of a pandemic. It's COVID and everything. He just hugging people, going up to them, dapping them up and all that. Garth, can you at least act like you're not touching these people? He done gave Michelle and Barack just the biggest hug. And then we had Amanda Gorman. She was the 22-year-old, the youngest poet that has ever spoken at the inauguration. A black girl, beautiful. I'm not familiar with her. I did not know who she was up until today or yesterday. But she did do her poem, The Hill We Climb. And it was just beautiful. I was proud to see her. You could tell she was very young. I love the fact that she had her braids. She didn't feel like she had to take her hair down or any of that. She did have it up. It was very much tamed and everything, but beautiful. Wore a beautiful, bright, sunny yellow, which I told you guys is one of my happy colors. That color automatically puts me in happy mode. It was a Prada coat. It was yellows and it was reds. It was bright, vivid colors, and the sun was shining on her just right. And it just did my heart so good, you guys. I actually watched her. They interviewed her on, who was it? Anderson Cooper interviewed her later on last night. And so very well spoken. 22 years old and just mature and just, really she is definitely an artist, a poet, and she just really knows her stuff, and she knows how to bring out the best in her, and you know, she works on her craft, and you know, she was talking about how she came up with the poem, and I mean, you guys, just an amazing, awesome girl. And we'll hear more about her. So we're gonna give her the fist pump of righteousness. Okay, that's that black girl magic. Okay, I mean, I guess we can give her the, you know, the fist pump of righteousness for old Kamala Harris too, our vice president. But yeah, she was really awesome, you guys. I had a few people on Twitter yesterday who had some things to say, you know, negative, and I just went on and put them on mute. You know, somebody had something to say about her, somebody else had something to say about Biden, and I didn't block them because I realized that people just salty and a little bit in their feelings because y'all lost. And I mean, I understand, like, nobody wants to lose, right? But I just couldn't afford to be in that mode yesterday of being offended and, you know, all of that. So I just mute them, and y'all could just be over there and be, you know, saying whatever you say to yourself. I didn't end up even seeing nothing else. But yeah, I think that, you know, Hillary Clinton had tweeted that she had said that she was going to run for president in 2036, and how she was excited to see that. And I was like, I'd love to be, you know, if she does continue on that path and has a political aspirations, then, you know, more power to her. Okay. Yesterday, it was great to see black women up there on that stage. I mean, years ago, we didn't have that. Now our young girls now, like they said, they don't have to dream about it anymore. It is a reality. Okay. And you'd be surprised about how those things really do, even if it's not overtly obvious that these are the things that make us believe that we can do it. Now these kids, it'll just be normal to them. It won't feel like it's unobtainable like it was when we were younger, saying, oh, I'll never see a black president in my lifetime, or I'll never see a woman president in my lifetime. I still have that one to see, but it feels like it's way more attainable now. So it's good to see that these young kids, what's that noise? It's good to see that these young kids are seeing that. Then we had the pastor. He was a pastor in Delaware. He was a good friend of Joe Biden, President Biden, and he got up there, preached, said a prayer, okay, hallelujah, okay, and I was like, you better preach it, Pastor. And then that was pretty much it, you guys. We closed it up, we wrapped it on up, and we swore in our 46th president of the United States and the vice president of the United States. So it was a great time had by y'all. And then you guys that went on like inaugurations do, you know, they go out afterwards, and they usually have lunch, but they didn't do lunch, I don't believe, as a group. At least if they did, we didn't see it. They made sure they kept that off of TV. But eventually they did go to, actually they went to the cemetery, to the grave of unknown, yeah, I don't know the name of it. I'll put it on the screen, to, you know, honor those who had died. We had President Obama, President Clinton, and President Bush also attend that, you know, in a show of support and solidarity. So that was actually great to see. And then there was the parade, which stressed the fuck out of me because I was just like, oh my God, are we really just walking down the street? I mean, I'm sure they had that place. I mean, we saw that they had the place secured. Anybody that lives in Washington, D.C. or even the surrounding areas, they could tell you that it was no way you was getting, it was a fucking fortress. They said they had 25,000 National Guards in the city. Okay, so basically every corner there was a National Guard somewhere. You wasn't gonna have time to be planting shit, you know, and the only way it could really be anything is if there had been an inside job. But, you know, with the exception, I think they said about 15 people or something in the National Guard that they had to get rid of or relieve them of their duties. For the most part, yeah, them National Guards was on it, obviously, because it was safe, and the people, you know, both Biden and his family and Harris and her family, they got out and walked, and child, my heart was, I was just like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, I'm just waiting for like some, you know, this is a terrible thing to say, but I was just like, oh God, please don't let all of a sudden something red just come out of their chest and they just, you know, fall down on the ground. Like, I just was, I know, you guys, it was bad to think that, but I just had the feeling, you know, when they got up at the top of the stairs at the White House, and stood there for their photo ops and all that, and then walked in. I was just like, get in the house! Shit. But they went on, and that concluded the inauguration. Of course, the night went on, and they didn't have their inaugural balls like they usually did, but they did have a celebration, and Justin Timberlake sang, and Katy Perry sang, and both the president and the vice president both spoke at that, and it was very, very nice and all of that. But by the end, I was pretty much inaugurationed out. Debbie tells me that there was a beautiful fireworks display. Like I said, I didn't really see that. I saw a little bit of it at the end when I got out of the tub. But yeah, you guys, it was an uneventful, it was an eventful day. As of now, the Patriots, did not attack. As a matter of fact, I was reading an article where some of them are feeling, abandoned by YSAP. I said, imagine that. Saying that he basically revved them up to go in there and storm the Capitol. And then, of course, he hasn't been supportive of them ever since. The one in Arizona, the one that only can eat organic food, he wanted a pardon from YSAP, didn't get that. Okay, I guess he's still in jail or whatever. And many others feel like, when YSAP said that, they shouldn't have done that, and they're not asking for violence, and, all of that, they felt like he turned his back on them. And one day they'll realize that that YSAP used them, and that he wouldn't give a fuck about them, just in a regular setting, because he's an elitist, and he doesn't care about those who don't have. And many of them are part of the have-nots, okay? They're not wealthy, and he wouldn't care about them, but they just, child, we can't. But anyway, not even getting stuck on that. It was a beautiful day. Everything went well, but we have to realize that this is real life, and once we get past the party mode, the real work starts. So we'll see what happens next. But as of yesterday, it was great. Okay, enjoyed it immensely, even though the stress was up there. You guys let me know what you thought about the inauguration. Did you watch it? Did you have a warm, fuzzy feeling in your heart the whole time? Were you nervous like me? A little bit of all of that? You guys let me know below. All right, you guys. So yeah, like I said, this is part 1 of the Let's Talk About It. I'll give it a formal ending. I'm going to get on to do part 2, so you guys stay tuned for that. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I'm It's Rox. The channel is It's Rox. Everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, Roxstars. Bye.